Hey everyone, welcome back to GL Spinners. Today I've got another new Spinner Day video for you. We are taking a look at the Rotablade Stubby. So I just got this one in the mail today. I actually had to run to FedEx after work because I didn't realize it required a signature and I missed the delivery. But as always, it comes in a nice tin. It's got Rotablade's name and logo on it. And down here it actually says Spinning Everyday Carry Tool. And one of the important parts about this tin itself is that it's got really nice fitting foam. The reason it's more important on this one than some of the other ones is that Rotablade produces these and they're from England. So it travels a good amount to actually ship it across the pond to me, and I'd hate to have it damaged while shipping. They do a good job with that. So let's look at the spinner itself. This spinner kind of hits that sweet spot on size. It weighs in at 69 grams. Which is barely over 2.4 ounces, and from end to end it's going to measure in at 50 millimeters, which is slightly under 2 inches. It is a bar spinner, but like its name, Stubby, it's a little short compared to other bar spinners. It's also a little bit wider. But let's talk about it in hand. So with the size and shape of this, you can fidget with it however you want. Flick it, push it, pull it, any finger, it doesn't matter, it's super comfortable. The spin is smooth and it's very well balanced. It does still have some slight bar wobble, but it's not as prominent as on a lot of other bar spinners that are longer. So the feel of this spinner is top notch. This might be the highest quality machine spinner I've ever seen. Every edge is rounded. The ends, you can see they're curved. They have a slight flat spot right at the apex of the curve, but everything's rounded perfectly and smooth to the touch. You can see they actually extend the weight to the end of the arms by making the kind of like a bowl shape where it's concave on both sides. And this finger groove here is extremely smooth as well. It's super well rounded and it's just barely wider than the buttons to give a really good nice one-handed flick. I mean, it's hard to really tell you how smooth and well made this spinner is. It really doesn't translate through pictures and video as well, but I can't find a rough edge on it. I don't feel any hot spots on it. It's really well made. I really like the look of this spinner, and again, in hand, I feel like you can fidget with it all day and you're not going to find a blemish. Let's move on to the buttons though. They are my favorite style of button. They're huge. Almost my entire thumb fits on it. They're recessed and they've got a nice raised edge. So overall it gives a really good grip. One thing is there's no texture on them, but that's going to be because there's no logo on it. And in fact, there's not a logo on it anywhere. I think that goes perfectly with the overall look of this spinner. It's super clean and, for lack of a better word, sophisticated. The buttons are threaded, and underneath they house an R188 hybrid bearing. The bearing is press fit in, which to me is a downside. I know people say this method is more precise and that it provides better balance, but I love being able to remove the bearing and clean it and replace it. Which I still can do, it's just not as easy. That being said, I'm going to let this bearing break in a little bit, but I do plan on changing out this bearing. Not because it's bad, but because recently I got a pack of 1-drop Yo-Yo's 10-ball bearings, and they're amazing. I'll be doing a full review on them soon, but just so you know, they're probably the best bearing I've ever seen. With this quality of a frame, I think it's going to be the perfect match to the 1-drop bearings and just make this spinner over the top. And you can even see, going back to, talking about the machining, that even under the buttons, the metal's flawless. So as far as for the spin, like I said, it's smooth and well balanced. I took it out of the box before the video and did a couple of table spins, and they averaged around 5 minutes. So not the longest spin, but I mean, like I said, with the high fidgetability of this thing, that kind of makes up for it. As always, I want to show it to you compared to some similarly sized spinners. So I'm going to bring some in that are close to it. The first one we're going to take a look at comparing it to is going to be the Flyaway Toys Mini Falcon. So this is another bar spinner. Pretty close to it in size and shape. But as you can see, the Mini Falcon is a little bit longer. The Stubby also has that curve and is a little bit wider. Another one just to compare it to is the Legacy Origin. Although these are completely different in price, they're pretty similar in the shape and size. The Origin does have the 4 arms, but it's much wider and heavier than the Stubby. So I always like to do this just to give you kind of like a real world look at it compared to some other spinners you might own. So, I mean, to put it short, I'm impressed by this thing out of the box. I purchased the stainless steel version. They have it in brass, copper, and titanium, and on occasion they even run some special editions. But in all honesty, this thing carries a high price tag. The version I purchased was 95 pounds and 15 pounds for shipping. You can convert that to whatever your current currency is, but that's pretty expensive for a spinner. They also have a really long wait time. Sometimes as long as 6 weeks to actually get it once you order it. I somehow got lucky. They must have had a lot of stainless steels because I actually got mine in just after 2 weeks. But I mean, like I said, the Stubby out of the box, this thing has really impressed me. I'm obviously going to put it through its paces, but this thing is nice. Let me know what you think about it. Do you already have one? Is it your favorite spinner? As always, put any comments and questions down in the comments below. If you like the video, be sure and give me a thumbs up. And if you want to see more spinner content and reviews, be sure and subscribe. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.